Greetings and welcome to YAS Podcast. Today's guest is an award-winning powerhouse. This artist is Mr. Panama Burlesque 2021 and has been announced number 26 on the Burlesque Top 50 of 2021. I am your Hopra, GiGi Holliday. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am really excited about my guest today because this is the first time I've ever had a man, honey. So I am pleased to bring to you the one, the only, Faggedy Randy.
Hey.
Oh my goodness, you are my first of the year and my first man, honey. So it is exciting. Are you happy to be here? Please say
yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen you since last year in
in Seattle. No, New York.
Yes.
Last year in New York, because you performed at Sony Hall.
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was fun. You were wearing, listen, tassels. Tassels. That's all I can say. Tassels. I think I lost it. I was just like ridiculous.
That's my new favorite.
Yeah, it should be.
I've been doing it and it's been a lot of fun. I kind of had to hustle on that one because I thought that the act that I did at the Seattle Burlesque Festival, I'd be able to do at the New York Burlesque Festival.
Ooh.
You were like, no, we don't have aerial rigging on that night. So then I was like, so I had like most of the costume pieces that I had gotten for that costume, but none of like the undergarments, no tassels, no anything yet. And I was like, oh, I have to hurry up. I have to hurry up and do this. I have to like rhinestone my mask. I have to do all the things and get it ready so I could just do it. And I did it like 3 times in Chicago before taking it there because I was like, oh crap.
I love that. See, I love how people think that like, I don't know, that just like it's so easy. No, we have to think on our feet. Like some things are planned and some things are not.
Oh, I was totally planning on doing a whole nother number. And then they're like, no.
You said it was planned to do something else.
Oh, okay.
But oh my gosh, I want you to tell me and our listeners and viewers, what is your origin story? How did you come to be?
Like burlesque times?
Burlesque times, world times, any of that, whatever you want to divulge. Origin stories is whatever you create. Remember, you're the superhero here or the villain.
So wind it all the way.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely some people, I don't know. I started dancing because I had met this guy working at a restaurant in Seattle. And I was like, oh man, he's gorgeous. And then my coworker, then I saw them talking like friends. And I was like, who's that person? And he was like, oh, that's my friend. And he dances with me doing modern dance and things like that. And he's like, oh, he's always at this place, Velocity Dance Center. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting because I've been thinking about wanting to dance. So let's see about this. And so I literally went with a friend of mine who also was a dancer to like, we were hanging out one night and I was like, let's go walk by there. And like, I'll just go like peek my head in and then look at like courses. They have like a listing of all the courses that are available. And he was literally in the class that night, like, and I could see him through the door. So I just was like, oh, this is my moment. So I like wrote down my number on a piece of paper and I was like, caught his attention. I was like, here. Anyway, meeting him, I was kind of like, he was dancing a lot. So I started doing modern dance and taking classes. And then there were some other people teaching like some hip hop classes and other. So I just started to just take classes there all the time. And then I ended up meeting some people that did cabaret shows down in the Pike Place Market.
Oh,
The Can. And I would go down there and hang out with them. And then I ended up meeting a guy who I dated who was also there. So then it kind of like this weird like friends mixture started happening. And then they needed a sub in one night for a guy. His name is Ultra. And I believe they live in San Francisco now, but Ultra was like the craziest genderqueer thing I'd ever seen in my life. Like,
love it.
They brought all of the madness and just tomfoolery and funny, weird, crazy, bizarre to that show. And so they had this show called Cabagasm. It was cabaret and orgasm, like mixed.
I love it. Cabagasm.
Cabagasm.
Oh my God, it sounds like an SNL skit.
Yeah, so he asked me to sub for him in the show because he wanted to go away somewhere. So then I was like, oh, I have to figure out something. So I was like, I'm not going to just do his acts because those are his. I have to come up with my own. And then I had to learn his part and all the other dances and things I had to do and all the group choreography. And then I had to come up with a stage name. So I just was like, I got to be like, bring the queer, because that's what he was bringing in the show. And so I came up with that stupid name, Faggedy Randy, just for that show, thinking that was like, like a one-off thing. And then it literally just stuck. And then I ended up becoming a part of that group. And I stayed there for like 4 years, and I quit my job, and I was like dancing downtown for 4 years. And that was like a total blast part of my life. And then, then you realize that you're like, I'm never gonna have insurance. I'm never gonna make more money than this. And
oh my gosh, it's that realization where you're just like, oh shit, well, I've committed. In the words of Jay-Z, no, not Jay-Z, Meek Mill, I said, it was time for me to marry the game, and it said, yeah, I do. That's what I feel like. It was time for me to marry the game, and I said, yeah, I do. But
as far as burlesque goes,
yeah,
that was like cabaret and like crazy dancing and just like wild ideas. We were all just being a crazy bunch of like 20-something-year-olds making crazy shows.
Oh yes,
and
when
doing
the knees were good. When the knees were good.
Yeah. So then I left to go back to school, to go to school for design. And then literally that December, or maybe it was, I think it was like maybe earlier or whatever, but I had just started school basically. It was somewhere between September and that December. And Ben de la Creme,
yes.
He and I had worked together at that same restaurant that I was talking about. And
this restaurant like, Red Stars, okay?
And so I was like, you need to come down and work with me at this can place. I was like, because they have an opening. They were hiring like a second troupe and doing this whole thing. And I was like, you got to do it. Because I had seen his MySpace, aging myself, MySpace. I had seen his MySpace. And he had all this drag on there.
Falling hearts.
Right? And so I was like, you need to be doing whatever this is on your MySpace. You need to come down. And so he started working there too. And that's how we had met or whatever. But he left the can before I did. I left later. Anyway, he was doing his Christmas show, Homo for the Holidays. And apparently somebody had auditioned for it and they got selected, and then they chickened out at the last minute. And so it was like the day of the photo shoot for the whole show. And he called me and was like, hey, I'm doing this holiday show. Are you interested? Do you want to do it? And you don't have to audition, because if you can just make it to the photo shoot, you're in the show. So then I was like, yeah, I hadn't, worked with them in multiple years. And so I just decided to jump on board and do it. And that show was the first time I ever did like a real burlesque act in the show. And then I kind of like caught on to that and was like, I like this. I think I like this.
Oh my gosh.
I ended up joining the Atomic Bombshells because they were hiring for some new burlesque performers, and I just was like, do you want a boylesque performer? And then I ended up getting into that, and then things happened later and I did not continue doing that, and I've just been a solo performer on my own for some years now.
What? Jeez. First of all, shout out to that restaurant. I really do have to give that restaurant
Brave
round of applause for breeding so many stars. Like everyone there was serving delicious things and just being a star. I love it. But like, you really have been like doing the damn thing. Shout out to whoever you were crushing on too for being in the class, because if you wasn't trying to get that ass, we wouldn't be seeing yours.
He did end up being a boyfriend for a while.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Had a lot of boyfriends.
Yes, I love it. Listen, I love it. It's one. Oh, this is so great. I love your history. I love your origin story. Okay, so along with that, I see here that you were the Seattle Spotlight Burlesque Performer of the Year.
Yeah.
What year was that? 2020?
That was right before everything shut down. It was literally January, like at the end of January, early February. I forget which it was, but it was sort of like right before. And then like we were just starting to hear things being like, oh, I heard about this thing in China, and everybody
it was like the inklings.
Yeah, it was like, everybody should be kind of worried about it. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, they think it might be here in the US already. I was like, oh, that's wild. And then I like went to the award show. It was like so this is something that used to happen in Seattle and then had, I guess, stopped for a while, and they decided to bring it back. And they were trying to, it's like a Seattle Spotlight Award was like for performers, and had all sorts of different awards for burlesque and drag and everything. So then there was the burlesque category, and the year it came back, I like won it. So I was like, what? And so I went. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was going to happen or if I would get it or whatever. But I was like, okay, I'm going to show up to this Spotlight Award. We're going to get there. And it ended up being a complete blast. And everybody that was putting it on was hilarious. And all the people, like, there was actually like a competition there too for like the drag performer of the year. Mm-hmm. And that was totally wild. So they were doing the thing where it's like the competition's happening, and in between competition rounds, they were like giving away awards. It was a crazy award ceremony, but it was great. It was great to like have that happen, because it was just all by votes through the community, and that's the only way it happened.
Yo, those are the ones that like, they matter when it's like your community and your scene, like seeing you. Like really seeing you. I know like right now we're in the midst of the top 50 of burlesque rollout, and your peers are voting for you and your fans are voting for you. And it definitely does feel so good when you finally are recognized by your peers, be it local or
that is crazy.
Yeah.
And if I see friends on there, I'm like, oh, it's so nuts. And I'm so proud of everybody for making it. But also I'm like, there's thousands and thousands of us, and there's crazy good performers all over the place. I'm like, I don't ever think I'm gonna be.
Listen, I still think about last year when I got on the list. It was actually the 1 year anniversary of me getting on the list. I still tell everyone I was the meme of the little girl from Blackish when she won an award that I say, y'all, that was me.
That's amazing though. It's like a surprise.
It is like a surprise. So even now that I know they're rolling out, this is me. Listen, all I want to do is beat Samson. That's the joke I keep saying. I just keep telling myself, I just want to knock Samson. I just want to knock him out of his spot. That's it. But it's, listen, it's gotta be extra.
Miss Foxy Lexi is on there.
Number 41. But it's also one of those things like, I'm such a little sister to Samson. Like, I'm such let me be the annoying little sister. And so that's for me, I'm just like, let me knock you out your 20 spot. You ain't nobody. You ain't nothing. You ain't bad. You ain't nothing. Like, that's how I feel. But
He's so good.
he's
You know
so
what?
good.
The thing about Samson, though, which drives me crazy, I still, not to this day, I cannot figure it out. And maybe it's just because he was internet stalking everybody first.
Yes.
He was like a fan and like following everybody and like learning about all these people in burlesque. He knows, he's been, this is like his third year or something now.
Yeah. I met him his first year.
As far as like burlesque, right? And he knows like everybody. He knows everybody's business. He knows what's going on. He has his finger on the pulse always. He knows exactly what's happening. Like, and I'm like, did somebody tell you that this was going to get posted before it got posted? Because he's always like the first one. And he always knows everything. And he always is like texting, being like, oh, did you hear about it? And I'm like, what? How did you hear about that? That literally like just happened. But
this is like
good, so
right.
Like he was already friends with everybody, already had, all the people up in his feed. And then he decided he was going to start doing it.
When I met him, I still tell the story of how I feel like I ran into him like a brick wall because I'm 5 feet and I'm not paying attention. And I just went, dunk, and I was just like, huh? And he was just like, hi. And I was just like, are you shocked that you see another Black person in this place? What's the deal? Why are you looking at me like that? And I was just confused. But then, like I said, I'm the little sister. Let me be annoying. Which we're going to get back to Samson in a minute because I'm going to talk about Bawdy Suit, bish.
Hey.
But the other thing that I definitely want to talk about is something that while you won an award before the world shut down, you won another award while the world was shut down. And that is
that was fun.
Mr. Panama Burlesque.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Because clearly you didn't fly to Panama. Like we were still in quarantine.
I was supposed to. I was in the one before. Yeah. Then they said, hey, we're going to do it virtual this year. Do you want to submit a video version of the acts that you were going to do live? And I was like, no. Because I really just want to perform that one live.
Right.
And I was like, but I literally just made this other one a video act because it was for a Valentine's Day show for it was for Boy Toys Pocket Cabaret here in Chicago that P would host and do everything for. And so I was like, had already prepared this whole video. I was like, I made this, I was like, if you like it, cool, put it in. If you don't like it, it's okay. I'll just hold my spot for when we can do live again. And I'll come perform the act that I wanted to perform live.
Right.
And then it won the video competition. Like, okay. So they're like, oh, you're Mr. Panama. And I was like, I'm Mr. Panama. But little secret, I'm still gonna compete again this year because it was like a video competition. So they were like, you can compete again for an actual like in person.
I mean, yeah, because
like, I want to.
Yeah, because that's just the virtual thing,
Yeah. So I'm not holding up and being like, it's the title. Like,
yeah, you should be able to say, I got it virtually and in person. Ow, okay.
I'm gonna try.
You're gonna do it, as in like you're going to perform and you're gonna put that energy.
I don't know. There's some other really good performers too, so I don't know.
True. Oh my goodness. Now I want to go to Panama to see the Panama Burlesque Festival. I've never been to Panama. Where is Panama? I can't remember.
It's the Panama Canal. It's like at the
okay. Now it's clicking.
Costa Rica. It's like down there.
Listen, I'm still learning about New York, okay? I'm still trying to figure out why is Brooklyn the size of Washington, D.C.? Like, why am I still on the subway? Why?
That city is I love it. But when we were just there for the New York Burlesque Festival, P and I were taking the subway train around and stuff, and we were like,
this is too much.
We couldn't live here. We couldn't live.
Listen,
It's too much. It's too much. I was like, Chicago seems like just the right amount of like busy and all the traffic and all that kind of stuff. It's like it's still big, but we're like, this is like 5 Chicagos.
Yeah, like the one thing that I always say every time I step out of my New York apartment and I see the trash on the ground and the dog poop that hasn't been picked up, I just go, man, DC way cleaner than this. And I just start going like that. Like DC is spotless, and it's spotless compared to New York. I'm not gonna lie, we got our mess, but it's spotless compared to New York, and it's clean because politics. Ain't no politics here in New York. In DC, they gotta be camera ready. Like, but Chicago, I took Chicago's subway system once to go to Jeezy's Juke Joint, and I took it at the wrong time. How come nobody told me it was St. Patrick's Day and it was serious? Like my face was just like, what is happening here? And I looked so good, like, and I was just like, and I'm just, the trains and everyone's bumping, and I'm just like, but when I remember when I finally showed up and everyone went, St. Patrick's Day? And I went, yeah, how come nobody told me? Put that in the email next time. Geez, if you're listening to this, please put that in the email next time.
I would be dumb too, because I don't pay attention to St. Patrick's Day or anything like that.
That's not it.
We were trying to get down to the show, and it was like 4 things happening at the same time this year because of all the rescheduling because of COVID. And then when things opened up, they were like, oh, this event was missed and this event was missed. So it was a bunch of shit all at the same time. And it was like Mexican Independence Day. And it was also this, and it was also this. And it was also like some type of like crazy, like EDM music fest. And like all these things were happening. We could not get to the venue. It was me and Shimmy and P trying to get downtown. And we were like, oh my God. And Shimmy was hosting. And we were like, we're not even gonna shoot. No one's gonna be there. No one's gonna be there on time. It was crazy. They had to hold the show for like over a half hour for us to get
Oh my gosh.
Shimmy was like putting on her makeup. Like,
oh my gosh, that had to be listed. And shout out to Shimmy LaRue also being on YAS Stripper Podcast. If anyone has not heard that episode yet, please go listen to it with my host Onyx. I am just Randy. I love her. I love you. I love her. I love you. I also love how Facebook keeps trying to say that me and Shimmy LaRue are the same person sometimes. We try to do the Facebook tag, and they'd be like, would you like to tag Shimmy LaRue? And I'd be like, that's a picture of me, Slim.
You're like, sure, why not?
Yeah, and then she would be like, it always be trying to get me to tag GiGi. And I'd be like, why? What is it? And I realized we do kind of beat our face the same, and we also do like the same wigs. But I peeped it. I was just like, because one day I was like, oh, that's a nice wig. Yeah, that's something I would buy. Yeah, Shimmy, you did a great job. That's something I would buy.
But that's the fucked up thing too, though. It's like you can't even recognize my own face.
You can't even recognize on my own account that I put my password in that I created. How dare you, Facebook?
I don't think this is you.
I don't think this is you. This can't be you. Alrighty, so you are the co-founder and producer, again, bringing it back to Samson and P. Two people that we love. You are Bawdy Suit Burlesque. Listen, y'all did a show for Virtual VHOF Hotline. Can I just say, I understand that burlesque is very women-centered, you know, but God damn it, I love seeing a man just strip. And y'all gave the right cheekage for even, I showed my mom the picture. My mom was like, where can I see this at? What channel that on? Channel?
What channel?
What channel? Channel interwebs. But tell me, how did Bawdy Suit come to be, and how did y'all end up taking over the burlesque world by stealing our just hearts away? Please let us know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring mind. Okay, so P and I started dating because we met at the last Burlesque Hall of Fame that had happened in person on the very last night. He just started working as a flight attendant, and he randomly got, like, in the last minutes of him being like on call before they could give him a flight, he was like getting prepared to go, because he literally had like minutes until he didn't have to do anything. And then they gave him a call and they gave him a flight to Los Angeles, and he was like, Las Vegas. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Las Vegas now. And he knew that a bunch of his friends, Shimmy and Switch and other people, were all gonna be at the Burlesque Hall of Fame. And he's like, I'm gonna go show up and I'm gonna go see my friends because I have a layover in Las Vegas. So he went and watched the very last night, the last show, and then he was at the last after party.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then I ended up meeting him on the dance floor, and we just kind of.
Okay, it was a wrap from that.
Another story behind that. I mean, there's another story. I don't know if I should tell it, but it's ridiculous. But anyway, fast forward.
Like I remember just like.
That year, the same year, later in the year, I met Sam at the New York Burlesque Festival. And he had closed the Thursday night show, and he did it with, you know which act.
Oh, that act.
It's so good. It's so good. His shaft act is so amazing.
It's so good. It's just
I was mad. I was like, what? Like when he flipped his jacket around and it was the cape, and I was like,
it just
like he had so many surprises built in. I was mad.
Magic.
But not really.
And that was like his first burlesque routine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Mm-hmm. I told you, he's sitting there stalking everybody, and he's like, how do you do it right? How do you do it right? And then he came out and did it better than everybody. I just was like, I need to talk to this person. So immediately after that show, I went up to him and I was like, hey, I don't know who you are, but that was like, just have to tell you, I loved that act. I loved all the surprises you put into it. It was freaking funny. It was sexy. It was everything. Like, congratulations. And he was like, oh, I know who you are. And I was like,
what you do? What you do?
You know who everybody is.
Stalker Samson Stalker.
And what? Oh yeah. Then the next day, him and Margot were also at the Friday night show, and I was in the Friday night show. So then they saw me perform. So then we just started chit-chatting online every now and then, saying hey, and keeping up with each other. Then the pandemic hit, and we were like, what are we gonna do? So we thought, oh, this is how it happened. Okay. It's not shady, but it's a little bit like, I don't want to say too much, but yeah, there was going to be a Burlesque festival. There was going to be like a Burlesque festival, an online one. And we were all going to be a part of it. And so was like some other people that we know. And it just got wild. And then out of nowhere, it was like days before it was supposed to happen, this online event, the person that was running it was like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. And they're like, I'm backing out. I can't, it's a little bit too much for me right now. Sorry. And I'll leave other details out of it. But what ended up happening was we were like, we could do this. We should do this. We should make it happen. Let's try to make it happen. And so we decided to do that national hotline. The very first one was going to be an all Burlesque show. And it was
Oh, I love
Burlesque.
that National Highline.
Yeah, it was gonna be a fundraiser for BHOF. And then everything happened. Like George Floyd, everything went down. And we all paused and we're like, this is not the time. This is not the time for this. And this is not the time. Like, we love BHOF and we wanted to do a fundraiser for it, but this is also, it's just not the time. And we're like,
Right.
what should we be doing right now? You know, we obviously just put this show together, but we're gonna not do it because it's not the moment. And what can we do? And Sam and P were like, let's do Juneteenth. Let's do a Juneteenth show. And I was like, well, let me back. I was like, let me back both of you. Let me support in any way. So I was like, I did all the graphic stuff and, you know, did everything that was like for marketing and getting that part of it taken care of. And then they ran the rest of the show. And it ended up being a really, really great, successful adventure for everybody involved. And it was wonderful to like be a part of that. And I was like, you know what, there's no other way that this guy would ever be a part of putting together a Juneteenth show if I wasn't for Samson and, you know, like they just, I felt so fortunate because I'm like, you know what, this was like a powerful moment. It was a powerful movement. And I was so happy to just be like able to contribute in that way and be able to like,
yeah,
backseat,
no,
how do I help?
I will have to admit that's when I first knew who you, like, learned who you were, because they were just like, and Faggedy Randy, you were just like, listen, hey, I'm just here at the computer, my guy. And I was just like, come through, ally, come on, doing the work, yeah. But she was just like,
Hey, but that was our first show together. That was supposed to be, you know, our first show together was supposed to be this Burlesque festival thing, and then we decided to switch gears, and we were joking about calling ourselves Pivot.
Listen, y'all did pivot on the dime. The modern dancers pivot. The modern dancer and the music pivot. Listen, y'all did pivot, and it was great. You know, it's one of those things where in the burlesque community, I appreciate when people can read the room and feel the temperature of society. And that was like a great thing that y'all did. Like, that's when I was just like, Bawdy Suit, got it. I thought y'all were just created because of the, well, technically you were created because of the pandemic, but but we
love each other so much.
Yeah.
And we kept going, trying to make some more things happen, and we did some stuff. And I'm proud of all of our shows that we've done. And we, you know, the three of us have just wanted to make sure that every single show is like as inclusive as possible. Like, we have every body type, we've got different sexualities, we've got different ethnicities, we have like just across the board. What is burlesque? Hey, all of this exists within burlesque, so it should all be represented every time, unless specifically we've done the two or three, actually, the Juneteenth year one, Juneteenth year two, and the Reclaiming My Love, which was also just a Black love letter. So it's like,
oh, another one.
I'm so happy to do it.
I can't wait to see what you all do this year, especially since we're still in the pandemic.
We have to have a meeting.
Don't you love those things? So like you know, Bawdy Suit also supported Parade Post and Peel for burlesque legend Tony Elling. And we are still so thankful and so gracious. And we also love showing Mama Tony any of y'all videos, especially Samson's. She calls us a little geriatric tickle, as we like to say. She gets a little hot. But no, like,
everybody's mom is always like, oh, Samson.
Yes, everyone's mom, and including my best friend. And I'm just like, ew. but
some like ideas and plans in the work, but it's kind of like, since everything has opened up again, we're like, all of us took all the gigs, took everything that was like postponed, and now we're like, okay, like slow it down.
Slow it down. But I would love a live show. Please come back to New York. I would love a live show of Bawdy Suit.
That's the plan is. How do we take what we were building during the panini and make it happen outside of that. So yeah, we've got some things to talk about and figure out, and logistics to be like, and also, you know, I've got a job now, P has his job now, and like all of us were not really working a lot during that time. And now we are, but it's still important to us, and we still love that we have created Bawdy Suit. And so it's just about trying to figure out what the new way of working together is and what that's going to be.
Oh my God, I love it. And I can't wait to see whatever you all bring, because I love it. Also, when the fits be matching, y'all, they be showing up to festivals with the fits matching like a crew. I mean, they are a crew, but like, they're just like, the color is leopard print and arrive.
Yes.
And I'm just like, damn.
That was
So
specific,
fun.
the New York Burlesque Festival, because we were all on different nights and we could all only attend certain nights, but we knew the three of us were all going to be there at the same time. So we're like, save the leopard print.
Save the leopard. You better bring that leopard print fit.
Save
What was it? It was at What the Funk Fest that we all were in leopard print the same day. No one, we were just like, oh, we all got the memo, huh? We're all wearing leopard print, huh? And I'm just like, yes. But like, I know you and I met virtually, and then when we finally got to meet each other in person, it was like we'd already met before. And that's why I was just like, who wants to be a guest of my podcast? And you applied. I was like, absolutely. I need to know more about my fam. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just saw you doing it. I was like, I want to do that.
Yes. Now I do have a question. And this is just a curiosity. Pink hair, when and why did you decide it? Like, I have to know. Pink hair, because it's so fitting. I could never see you in another color hair. I need to know. Like, I'm obsessed with your pink hair.
When I went back to design school, so when I started burlesque, I did not have pink hair.
What?
But when I went, no, I didn't. This is maybe year 8. This might be year 8 of pink hair. But I was working as my first design job was at this place, Rudy's Barbershop. They're kind of sprinkled around the country, but they're not everywhere. So I'm not quite sure. I know there's some in New York. There was one in Williamsburg, but I think they closed it. But
sounds about right.
Yeah, but it originated in Seattle. And so I was working in the headquarters, which is like in the original location and like upstairs in that building. And they have the education department there too, where they teach all of the latest techniques, tricks, styles, hair color, whatever, trying to give classes to their employees. And so I was friends with the education department leads too, and they were always trying to do stuff to my hair. And so one time, this guy was like, let's color your hair. Let's do it. And my hair is darker than yours, my natural hair.
That's what I was about to ask. Like, yeah, so
dark,
what's the
dark.
So they had to.
So I didn't know about it.
On that shit.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was gonna work, and so my first thing was like, well, I don't want to go some crazy color because my hair is so dark, it might look white, like just weird on me. Right. So I decided to go like a dark purple, because I was like, that'll be closer in tone to my natural color and we'll figure it out. So I did it and I liked it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be purple all the time, but it would wash out real fast and turn into like lavender. I also like that, but it was kind of like upkeep. I had to keep dyeing it over and over to keep it in. And this guy was like, I think you should try pink. And I was like, I don't know. That's really like pushing it. And he's like, I don't know. I think it might be your color. And I was like, I don't know. I'm liking purple. I just started doing this. I'm going to stick with purple. And he was like, let's dye it pink. If you don't like it, I can just put purple dye on top of it and it's fine. And I was like, okay. And then I like literally turned around and I was like,
it's the gasp for me. I would have, I love it.
ever since.
Like, I'm a pink now. Like, that would have been it. Not a blonde, I'm a pink now. Oh,
He was very proud of himself. He's like, I told you.
I love it. But like, I
love
can,
it.
as someone who is very tiny, and I'm talking about me, like in crowded rooms, I can find you because I'm so short and I see the pink hair. So then I know, okay, if Randy's over there, then the rest of my friends are over there.
Pink beacon. That's
yes, you're a pink beacon of light. And I'm just like, oh, there
he
you
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm like on vacation with my friends, and then I go like out to swimming or something, and they're like, if they want to check and make sure I'm still alive, they're like, pink hair bobbing in the water out there.
Yeah.
He's alive. He's alive.
I love it. Like the moment I saw it, I was just like, pink hair. That's a choice. And then like I kept seeing it and I was like, no, this is a really good. And then when I saw it in person, I wish you would understand my little brain, my little kid brain was just like, here's my boy, here's pink hair. Here's pink hair.
Kids love it. They're always like, Mama, he has pink hair. Mom, pink hair. Pink hair. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. So
it really is weird when I don't. Like, I just let it grow out for 3 straight months.
And you just looked at yourself like, who is this?
Because I was in this holiday show in Seattle, and which is a great holiday show. Everybody should.
Not the one with that wig, and I was just like, let's address this wig.
I was wearing that wig for 3 months.
I saw the picture on Facebook for marketing for, what was it, War on
Christmas. Yeah.
War on Christmas. And the wig is just this very much John Jingleheimer Schmidt ass wig. And like the fact that I know Randy and Randy know I know his wigs, and I just went, let's talk about this wig. That's all the comment was.
It's my favorite because it's so stupid. It's so dumb that I'm like, that show specifically, I get to showcase my burlesque talents in, but I also get the opportunity to act and sing and do other things that I normally don't get to do. And so it's like really, and just with wonderful friends like Waxy Moon's in it, and my friends Scott Shoemaker and Freddie write it, and they're so freaking funny, and they are always pushing the boundaries of like what is appropriate and what people can handle. It's always crazy. Mandy Price is an amazing, hilarious comedian, and Ade is like a Seattle staple of like the bar scene, and she's also just always in tons of productions, and she's in like a band called Bijou. She's a great singer. So it's like this weird, crazy mix of people. And just the fact that that show is so ridiculous, and that it's supposed to be set in like the early 70s, late 60s, and be like a variety show. I was like, let me have that Dorothy Hamill wig.
That wig, and it's perfect. I was just like, what is happening here?
It like transforms my face though. I don't look like the same person anymore when I put it on. I feel like totally nuts. And
well, you know what? Wow, I'm shitting on that wig. That's the sign of a good wig. If it transforms your face a bit, if it makes you look like a new bitch, you got to keep the hoes guessing. Like,
I feel like I kind of look like somebody who might secretly be an axe murderer or something. In that way, it's
listen, it's the same haircut as there is a movie where there's like a serial killer.
It's not that, what is it called? No Country for Old Men. That's not it, right? Is that it?
No, I think it is No Country for Old Men. Let me check. Let's check. Let's always check. Let's always check. No Country for Old Men. I love it.
Too.
Where I love images. Yes, I am correct. You are correct. Yes, it's the same guy. Yes. There it is. It is No Country for Old Men. It is No Country for Old Men.
I got it. I was thinking they originally proposed like a Beatles wig. And I was like, no, I don't want to wear a Beatles wig. I was like, what about I just thought of like the time period, and I was like, Dorothy Hamill. Like,
I just feel like it's
really want that.
no country for Randy, no old country for Randy.
Or like a Donnie and Marie, they had that haircut for a while. I was like,
Donnie and Marie.
the ugly mushroom haircut. I love it.
Ugly mushroom hair. Oh my gosh. You just brought me back. Like the Donnie and Marie. Oh my goodness.
I feel like I have that wig like right over here this time.
Oh my goodness, please show us this mushroom wig. I am here for it.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to put it on and brush it.
You're gonna have to put it on to brush it, but
Yeah,
let's just okay.
So I have to brush it.
Oh my gosh.
There it is.
Yeah, this is giving me very creepy vibes.
But
this
then,
is like,
you know, when you're like dancing around and delivering lines, you get to go,
yeah. Not the bang, the bang.
Not the banging. Oh my God. My favorite part, we talk about that video all the time. Me and Sam and Pete. And
that is
what's
I love how you're like,
worst part is when she pulls it like this and she's gonna cut it.
Yeah.
But then she lifts it up and she goes, oh, her nose made funny. Like, that is so rude. It's so rude. This is so rude.
Oh my goodness. So there's one thing that I definitely do want to talk about that we only message about on Facebook a bit, and that is Woodstock 99.
It's crazy.
You and I share that same thing, and we have gone to festivals, those alternative rock festivals during that time period, and witnessed, done, and been involved some shit.
It was wild.
What was, now that we, after that documentary on HBO, now we all know that Woodstock 99 was problematic as hell.
I still actually haven't seen it. I need to watch it.
You need to watch it. Because I didn't go to Woodstock 99. In DC, we have this thing called WHF Festival. And it was just like a miniature version of Woodstock. And it was at RFK Football Stadium. Let me just say, the stuff that I witnessed on that documentary, this was me. That was my teenage years.
I think I saw that. I can't believe my parents let us like go. There was 3 friends and we decided to drive from Seattle all the way there. Man, it was crazy. It was like on an Air Force base.
Yeah.
They had you park and then it just ended up your car was like in a sea of, there was no locating your car afterwards. There was no, it was just like in a sea of cars. You know, there wasn't any like, I parked over by the green D or what, you know what I mean? There was no letter, number, like no anything.
It was just
we just
your
went
car.
Like, we were like, oh, Woodstock, it's gonna be so cool. And man, it was bad. Like the first day it was bad. They ran out of like all of the porta potties that they had there.
Yes, I do remember seeing that.
Day. On the first day. And then people just got nasty. And you know, if P was here, he would be saying, white people, because it was true. But then people are like dancing, doing crazy hippy dippy stuff in this mud, but the mud
is poop.
Is made by the overflowing.
I remember hearing
like,
about that. Well, first of all, I remember seeing it on MTV because I remember it was broadcast on MTV.
We were just trying to like go from one stage to another, and you would have to like dodge and be like, is anybody throwing poop at me? Are you throwing poopy mud at me? Poop and pee mud? Such
a dangerous combination.
they didn't let you bring any food in. They didn't let you bring your own water in. They didn't bring any of those things in. And then on the promotions, they had said, oh, there will be water, there will be da da da, but they didn't tell you that there was going to be water and it was going to be $5 a bottle. And that was in 1999. Like $5 a bottle was crazy. It was nuts. So people were like poor, and they didn't bring what they needed to bring because they weren't allowed to, but then they're like out of money, so people are like getting dehydrated and starving.
Oh my gosh.
I understand why what happened because at the end of it, people were done. They were like 100% done. And I remember we were like at the Red Hot Chili Peppers watching the last show, and I wasn't even like super into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was just like they're the finale group we're watching,
and it was like, woo, yes, great.
Yeah, look at that down there. There's a little fire over there. Oh, there's another. Look at that. Oh my God, there's one behind us. Oh, they're everywhere. It was crazy. It was crazy. Then it was like the sound equipment that was like the poles that the sound equipment was on was like on fire, and we were like, oh God, we gotta go. We gotta go. Yeah. And then like on your way back, it was like going through like Armageddon. It was nuts. They had the big like money trucks that are like the Brinks home security type of trucks but they had like ATMs in them so people could get cash. Those are like flipped over, on fire. People are like just tearing apart all of the like little stands that businesses were in trying to sell things, looting, burning it, taking shit. And we were just like, oh my God, go get your things, go take the tent down before people throw that into a fire. Like people were using anything to burn. It was crazy. It was real crazy.
Jeez. I just remember watching it on MTV and then even them going like, there's a fire over there.
There was a lot of fires.
And then the wrap up of it, they talked about it. It was just like, nah, these people was playing in poop and pee and mud. It was like a combo. And he was like, they were just sliding down the hill. And I was just like, oh, that is horrific. And then the documentary came out on HBO, and I was just like, it was way worse than what they said.
I need to I'm gonna see if I can like spot myself in it. Be like, I was so dumb. I was like 17, and like when hippie culture was like coming back in the 90s, and so I had like, it was so hot, I had bought a sarong, and I was just wearing a sarong. I was walking around in a sarong.
I love it. You were wearing a sarong because it was so right. Okay.
Yeah, it was so wrong.
It was so wrong. I know when I went to HF Festival one year, it was the day after prom. I still had black girl prom hair in a mosh pit. Black girl, and I will admit, part of it did come off. I did pick up my bun and went, oh. And people were like, cool. It's like, nah, so I just came from prom. Like I literally just came from prom. You lucky I'm not in my fucking dress right now. But listen, first of all, I love you. Let me say that. I love you. Okay. You've been doing burlesque how many years? 7, 8, 9, 10, 12? See, when you got to think about it, that's sad. That's how long you've been in it. You got to think about it.
I think this is the 10 year of like doing burlesque. I think this is my 10th year.
Your 10th year?
Performing, doing like cabaret shows and things like that, and dancing longer. But this is my 10th year, I think.
Wow. What have you learned being a burlesque entertainer?
I have learned that,
like, what should the world know? Because every time I tell my friends or family or even like potential clients when booking a show saying I want burlesque, they're just like, Chippendales? And I'm just like, sort of, kind of, but You're on a right train, but on the wrong track. Like,
for me, burlesque, I feel like the term should just go away at some point. Like hopefully it'll just go away. But for now, it's a descriptor. It is what it is. And the only thing that drives me nuts about the term burlesque is when people start using it for things that aren't even that.
Right.
they're like, look at this club look I put together, and then they're like hashtag burlesque. I'm like, but are you doing burlesque at all? The root word of burlesque is burlesque, and are you doing burlesque at all? Then I'm like, no, then it's not burlesque, so don't do that. But then I also am like, I don't care. I just let go. I'm like, I'm done. But burlesque, I feel like, should just be burlesque, and burlesque being the art of the tease, and however you decide to do it is like the way to go. Sometimes people are super hot and smoky and they're just giving you 100% sex, and you're just like, oh my God. And that's never going to be me. I don't think I can do it. I don't think it's in me. I don't think that's like what I'm gonna exude on stage, but I love it when somebody does, and then other times people are bringing like what they love and what their like either their background or their history or what other kind of art form they've done before. They bring that into the mix. It's like whatever you want to, as long as it's involving you are derobing and you are taking the time to at least do some tease in there somewhere.
Yes.
So I don't know. I feel like burlesque is for everybody, right? It's like for everybody, for every type of person. So I don't think it really makes sense anymore to like start picking it apart and being like, so it's like, just because there's boylesque doesn't mean there's,
because even there's a thing of like draglesque and queerlesque, and I'm like, we're all queer, we're all doing drag, we're all taking off our clothes. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, are you doing burlesque or are you not? So it's like, so even if you're in drag and you're doing burlesque, then you're doing a burlesque act.
Right.
You're in drag, but you're doing a burlesque
act.
You're doing a burlesque act. But then there's, I guess, draglesque would be, there's been that argument over the history of burlesque about, not wanting to lip sync and not wanting to mix the two up. And a lot of people don't really like when people lip sync while they're doing a burlesque performance. But I kind of feel like if it's appropriate, when it's appropriate, like, if it's like part of it and you really like work it in,
right,
that makes sense to me. But if it's just like lip syncing just to lip sync the song, then I get it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I get
what
it.
was the question?
Listen, welcome to ADHD. Welcome to ADHD. We did go on it. Look, we were here and we went there. No, what would you like the world to know about like your performance and your performance style? Like I said, my family automatically goes Chippendales, and I'm like, sort of, kind of, but please understand that there's like storytelling. But like, what is your experience being you and doing the art form?
I have so many burlesque heroes that I just watch, and I'm like, if only, or just like, oh God, like, and just people who do something that I cannot do or wouldn't do. I love watching that. And so there's like lots of inspiration out there for me as far as like seeing people just deliver crazy good performances, and I love it. Like, you are one of those people who has delivered the performance, and I'm just like, we are in the audience screaming and like going, ah! Oh my God. At What the Funk, we were all going nuts. That was like, that act was so good. It was so good. And then the same thing at New York Burlesque Festival. We were like,
no, I'm not gonna lie.
Script to acapella. Oh my God. It was so perfect.
It's the fact that legends were pulling me aside, like New York Burlesque legends were just like, we've never seen anyone dance to an acapella song before. And I was like, as long as burlesque has been around, like, I'm like, fuck out of here. like very New York about it. Like, and then, but by the fifth person, I was like, oh shit. Okay.
It was so good. It was like it was a whole moment, and
it was a whole moment or a whole moment, because it can go either way, baby.
It was both, but it was a whole moment. And we all, like, the second that song started, we were like, oh no, oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you what? And it was just like delivered. So I'm just like things like that where it's like, I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna do that.
But what you bring, I'm telling you, that's Sony Hall performance.
So for me, I'm always trying to be stupid. Like, if I come up with an idea that I think is like sexy, or I'm trying to figure out another way to take my pants off, because there's only so many times you can do snap tape down the sides. There's only, there's
only so many times.
We don't have a lot of options, so it's like you got to get really creative. And so I just always try to bring some kind of something else, a different look, a different style, a different type of music, and like just kind of have a new adventure every time I make a new act. I mean, like, okay, I'm gonna get into this world, and then normally, I don't know, it all just kind of comes together for me. Like when it does, it's like, I think I'm gonna want this costume, and it's gonna be it used to be like making a costume for a specific show. And so you're like, okay, I'm gonna be a Cupid, and I'm gonna be in this Valentine's show, and so I need a Cupid act, and okay, I'm gonna start making that, getting the costume made, and then I gotta figure out the act, and But lately it's been the guy who I work with getting my costumes from is an amazing designer, and he just makes his own Halloween costumes that end up being the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. Every single year I'm like, who are you? You're nuts. He's super talented. His name's Philip Estrada, and he always just wants to go full out, and he's such a talent, and he's like in love with Bob Mackie, and he is in love with doing things like traditionally, the original way it should be done, the way it should be sewn. So there are always these super intricate costumes that are looking like crazy Vegas level costumes. And then he just wears it for Halloween once. And I'm like, can I buy that from you?
Can I get that? Can I get that, dog? Let me get that.
From you? I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I definitely know I want it. So I'd like just save my dollars and like give him little installments until I ended up having it. And then I end up having the costume, and I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. And that's what happened with the New York Burlesque Festival act.
Wow.
I had just gotten the costume, and I hadn't quite put together the act yet. And I was like, oh, I have put together now.
It was like, I was just sitting there going like, holy shit, that's my friend. Holy shit. Yes. And I just remember screaming, you better come through. Come on, fam. Like, really excited. And it just.
Tigger was here.
So many tassels. I just kept saying the tassels. I was like, these tassels. The tassels.
Tigger was here for a wedding, and he swung by and hung out with us for a day. And I was trying to like work on it and like put it together, and he was like, so what is this? And I was trying to tell him my idea. I'm like, well, I have this idea of like the band Dead or Alive, and then also Bon Jovi's song Dead or Alive. And so it would be like You Spin Me Right Round and Bon Jovi's Dead or Alive. So
right.
Dead or Alive and Dead or Alive. And I was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna get that, but that's my like concept, is like, is it?
No, I got it. This was me. What is the name of that band? Oh.
Yeah. So I was just going with that, and then I just thought, I was like, okay, so I got this cowboy outfit. I should be spinning everything, like it's gonna go to You Spin Me Right Round. So I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna spin my guns. I'm gonna spin tassels. I'm gonna spin assholes. I'm gonna miss an opportunity if I don't spin. If I don't have another tassel.
And we all were just like, it's coming.
But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of like how I do it. And I guess what I know about myself is, if I'm going to be sexy, I'm going to be stupid too. I'm always going to bring the stupid, or I'm always going to try to bring some element of humor or like ridiculousness, just to bring, I feel like people are more comfortable with that. And I really enjoy like I've had a really great experience, even with my name, Faggedy Randy, having heterosexual people and all sorts of different types of people be able to like enjoy my performance and not feel like threatened in some weird way, or be like, this is so gay that I can't handle it and I don't want to be here. It's like that they're like, oh my God, that guy just stuck a thing in his butt on stage and I'm watching, and I normally wouldn't like this, but I think it's really funny. Like, so I'm just trying to like, I guess I'm trying to like sneak attack people and be like, I'm going to do something out of control, but I like baited you the whole way. I got you to like follow me all the way here. Then I'm like, ha 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 ha. And then I'll just
the old bait and switch.
then I'm gonna do something stupid, and I'm like, and you're gonna like it, and you're gonna like it, and that's kind of where my biggest fear is every time I make something new. Is like, is it gonna work this time? You know what I mean? Like, this is the idea, but is it gonna work? Are people gonna enjoy it? Is it gonna be funny, or is it gonna read the way I think it'll read? Because Tigger was like, I was trying to tell him about it. He's like, okay.
Tigger is just such a legend as well.
But then he saw it there and he was like, oh my God. He was like, all the things that you were saying when you were performing it, he was like, they were all clicking in my head and I understand now. And he's like, it worked. And I was like, ah, that made me feel very, very good.
Listen, the moment it started, I was just like, first of all, they said your name and I was like, yes, okay, fam, yes. And then it started, I was just like, and
I know. I was like,
I lost it.
In the beginning, I'm like pretending like I'm somebody else.
Right. We all know it's you.
This is not my type of movement, but I'm like, here we go. I'm a buckaroo cowboy.
I'm a buckaroo.
I'm gonna be like, I'm sexy right now.
I'm a sexy cowboy. Okay.
And then I turn it around later and you're like, what is happening?
Move over, NYC's naked cowboy. We're giving you Faggedy Randy.
Oh my God.
Spinning you right around. He's still out there.
I know.
It's weird. I will admit, Times Square is a weird place, but he's out there. He's still out there. But oh my goodness, I have nothing else to ask. They're like, what would you? Oh, okay. Here it is. Because now I have nothing else to ask, but I definitely want you to like tell the people something that like I don't know. Because I don't know if anyone has been, in the burlesque world, we're having some drama right now with something called Red Velvet Burlesque.
I mean, is that actually drama, or is it just some crazy, like basically it's like burlesque fishing?
Whoa!
Because it's probably not even a burlesque person doing it, right? It's probably like somebody being like,
nah, it's someone who did a male review called Hunkarama.
Oh, so it is a real person?
Yeah, it's like a real person.
But there's no actual shows, right?
There's only one show that happened in New York, and that's it. Yeah.
So it did happen. There was a show that
did. It did. Yeah, one show.
Oh my God, I'm so behind.
Oh my God. Okay, so for
because
you need to catch up.
I thought it was a joke because I was looking at it and I saw all the cities and I was like, never. That's not gonna happen.
It got real. It got
like
real.
The location for Chicago is like some weird. It's like that's not a place.
This is how deep it goes. How should I put this? The people that run it were commenting on the Facebook post and insulting people.
This is crazy.
You'll probably hear this. I'm gonna let my audience. You saw it on Facebook. I'm gonna let the audience know right now. Probably every time I do an episode, you will get more and more information regarding this scam that was trying to happen within the burlesque community that did not involve burlesque performers, but involved burlesque performers. Just know that Faggedy Randy has now discovered that there is more information.
There's more. I just was like, I literally thought it was like burlesque fishing. I thought it was being like, just somebody being like, this is Red Velvet Burlesque. We have shows in every city in the country, and they're trying to get people to buy tickets so that
everybody thought it
show
was
that doesn't
Cheyenne,
exist.
Shein, or whatever. Shenyun, what is the thing?
Yeah, they're
They all thought it was, they
Burlesque.
thought it was that. It's
And
not.
their marketing budget is Facebook.
It's Facebook. I'm
so,
just, yeah.
So they were trying to sell tickets to every city, though.
Yes.
You could buy them, right?
You could buy them. And what they do is if they sold like up to 30 tickets, then they would scramble to find local burlesque performers to perform.
But how do you sell tickets for a date?
How do you sell tickets to perform in the Food Lion parking lot? That's my question.
They just had to pick a location.
You just had to pick a parking spot. This your stage. We're gonna
I mean, wow.
But is there anything else that you would like my listeners to know about you and the scene and what you want to continue? Actually, what do you want to bring to your art and your striptease in 2022?
I want to bring, a couple things. I really want to do Bawdy Suit productions outside of the virtual pandemic world. And so we're going to do that. TBD, look out. Follow Samson, follow Pinot Noir, follow me, follow Bawdy Suit, and we'll have some news soon about that.
I'll give y'all all that information. Don't y'all worry about it.
But outside of that, I just really want people, I feel like there's a lot of bizarre feelings around burlesque, and there's a lot like being in the community is kind of a lot of drama that doesn't need to be there. And I really, really, really feel like I just want people to understand that it is for everybody. It helps people get over their issues. If somebody's new to burlesque, it really opens a lot of doors that you really didn't imagine them opening for you, as far as like your person and just getting over certain fears. Sometimes it's just like it's taking off your clothes is a weird thing, but then once you do it and you finally put yourself out there in that way, it kind of helps a lot of people move through different aspects of their life. And so it's just a powerful art form, and I wanted to just stay that way and let everybody know that it is for everybody. And the only thing that ever matters, hands down, was it a good performance? None of the rest of it matters. None of the rest of it matters at all. It doesn't matter who you are, what your body type is, how you feel about your body, what color your skin is, what your gender orientation is. It literally is for everybody. And it's so great and fun to see every single type of person be represented out there doing it. And it feels like the future of burlesque has just become more and more being able to see that and see people open up and more people realize that it is for them and doing it. And it makes me so, so happy. So if you feel like doing it, you should just rip off the Band-Aid and do it, or talk to people that that do it and see how you can start, or like take a class, or support somebody else who's teaching, and go just do a 101 if there's a burlesque 101 near you. But give it a go.
Thank you for saying that. Like, it is for everybody, and such a great way to like begin the new year, because we're always trying to figure out like, what should we do now this year? New hobbies, new things, new fears to conquer. And that, when I say I have the chills, or you just saying it is for everybody, I'm just like,
it's literally for everybody. Right. Actually, I feel like burlesque is the #1 double finger to everybody in society and the world that we live in.
Yes.
What we can and can't do with our bodies. And so it's like we are doing the maximum amount that is legal for us to do with our bodies, and putting it out on stage in front of a bunch of people. And my heroes completely vary in body shapes and sizes, in gender orientations, in there's just so many people who I'm just like blown away by. And it's just like, a magnitude of different types of people. So it's like definitely for everybody. And I am so happy that there's different bodies and different people out there doing it, because it's like people need to see that it is for everybody. And
Yes.
Sometimes it takes is just somebody being able to see somebody that they identify with doing it. And it's so empowering for them. Even just like if people aren't going to end up doing burlesque, you know, but just to be able to see another body or somebody that represents them or that they identify with out there. It's super important. So I love seeing everybody do it. I love all the performers that are out there killing it. And when people are just doing their own thing, and that's the best part about it too, is it's completely, you know, it's like the baseline is take off your clothes and tease people a little bit. That's it. And then you can do whatever the fuck else you want to do.
Just entertain them.
Mm-hmm.
Just entertain them. That's it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's good. And it's
thank you so much for joining me today. I am just
thanks for having me.
Is pie. I was just like, alrighty, I'm about to do this interview. This is my first one of the year. And what better person to interview than the person I always search out at events, because I can find them easily. And I know that's where the fun is. It's my love.
Something stupid.
We're going to do something stupid. We're going to crack a joke. We're going to just have a good time on the dance floor. And we're also going to we always have the biggest love fest with each other. And that's the best. You know, I see you and Pino and Samson and Margot and everyone else that we have like hung out with and intermingled with virtually and in person. You know, it's a family reunion. I will say What the Funk Fest was the best family reunion, and I'm so glad that you were there, fam.
I'm so glad you were there too.
Yes. Well,
it is like, I mean, it is a community. It's a community.
It is.
But there's also in the grander community. I just know for people out there who are just thinking about also like, if you're looking for something to find community in, you will find a community in burlesque. There will also be part of the grander community that you don't identify with and that you don't work well with or whatever, but that's fine. It's like, not everybody's for everybody. And there's definitely a huge, I feel like that's what we're all doing. I feel like that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what all of us who are feeling like family, all of us that are like, oh my God, love you.
I love you. Yeah.
Yes, it's like, I feel like that's kind of been part of like Bawdy Suit's mission too, has been like, let's just find those people who are just genuine, that are just doing their thing, that need to be out there, that need to be seen and recognized and be a part of this, like, you know, that just give out good vibes. And I feel like there's so many of us out there that are just good vibes. And every time we run into each other, it's like,
yeah, I will admit, every time. Still at What the Funk Fest, y'all, I went to y'all. I knew where y'all table were at with that. And that's why I was like, I'm gonna go fuck with my fam real quick. But I just thank you so much for being such a support system for not only me, but others out there. And thank you so much. I just love you.
Oh, I was so excited to do it. I was excited that you emailed me back and said, yeah, you want to do it?
Yeah. I was like, you want to do this? Come on through, baby. Well,
I didn't know. You. I was like, I'd do it. And then I forgot. And then you were like, it's time.
I was just like, yeah, I personally had to take a break from everything, but I also did not expect 60 people to apply.
See?
I had to go through a whole list. And so I'm still plowing through it, but I am so thankful and honored and blessed that people were just like, yeah, I want to sit down and talk to you. You're weird. I am weird.
I'm weird.
And that's what attracts us together. My weird sees your weird and says, let's be weird together. Yes. Well, my love, thank you so much. And that's about it. Say goodbye to the audience, Randy.
Bye, guys. Love everybody.
Here is your auntie's tip. Remove things in your life that no longer serve you. It could be a person, place, thing, or feeling. Whatever will make you free.